or of YouTube. Hello, got it. I should have left the meeting.
Ah. I meant to ask you, Dave, what's your thoughts on Ghostbusters 4 next year?
I saw the release date and I was like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. And we're live on the Facebook too.
Yeah.
And I got the notification for YouTube actually.
There we go.
Excellent. Hello,
Cool.
people.
Hi. So hello to everybody that's still breathing. We all went from all four of the people from Big Bang Theory hitting F5, F5, F5 to Sheldon with the paper bag hyperventilating. But welcome to another week of the Virtual Cantina Watch Along. I'm Spencer. I'm one of your hosts for the evening. And producing tonight is the Datalorian himself, Dave.
Hey, how's it going, people? That was stressful earlier.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But my reminder, and I put this on the page too, is if you didn't remember after all that craziness, Black Series Tika the Jawa dropped at Target.com today. So
Nice.
Get your pre-orders in for that, because you're going to want to have that signed at a future celebration or some other type of event.
Absolutely. And we got Senor Jefe with us as well. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. As
Well,
good as I could be doing at the moment.
Absolutely. So yeah, as Dave was mentioning, first and foremost, I want to give a kudos to the group. I would say for the most part, like it was very like smooth. Like people were posting in the post. There was not too many posts we had to delete on the back end. People were, following the rules. There was only a few people that were kind of like, like whatever. But I thought it was a good crop. I was relatively happy with the response and I would say the behavior of the group.
Well, and I thought it was really nice the way people were posting helpful information, because I'm, got my ticket screen open over here and I'm watching the moderators and the office chats and stuff like that in one screen, and then I'm watching the posts on the page in the other, and there's offering helpful information, getting helpful information in all of the spots. I thought that was very nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was good. And then obviously people great management. Thank you, Mason. Hello, welcome to the Virtual Cantina. Happy watch along tonight.
This is a long one.
Yeah, well, it's not that too long. It's like an hour and a half.
Hour and 2 minutes.
Okay. But no, I was very like I said, I was very happy. It was amazing how when we finally got through, initially it was like over an hour, 58 minutes, and then all of a sudden I went to like 15 minutes, like that. But I would imagine that probably in the next couple of months that Light is going to reopen. And I'm probably
how
figuring
soon before Anaheim did they reopen?
You see, that was kind of weird because we had the whole COVID resell of all that jazz. So I would,
Right.
I mean, it's like someone asked me today, how's the lottery work? I'm like, honestly, in the last 3 celebrations that I've been involved with, each one's been different. Like
Right.
literally each one's been different. Like the lottery that we had in Chicago was different from the lottery that they had in Anaheim.
Right.
Yeah, how it was handled in general. Yeah.
Well, because Chicago was still camping out, right?
No, there's no
it's not.
camping
It's
out.
lottery.
It's too cold.
Orlando was the last camp out.
Okay.
Yep. 2017. 2019, I think because it was in April and it snowed.
Oh,
yeah. They didn't want people outside trying to brave the elements, as it were. So
see, I thought the impression that I had gotten was there was like, for those watching that don't know, I've only been to Anaheim, the one celebration. Is like there was like a place like Hall E where people were like camping out. like an indoor.
Yeah,
type.
there was in Orlando, not
Wow.
in Chicago. And they did the overnights in
Yeah.
London in 2016, which Gary was talking about,
Right.
which I implore everybody to watch the first intergalactic news desk for this celebration. Gary and I cover a crap ton of stuff that you guys need to be prepping on now, especially if you got your tickets.
That is the featured video on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/the Virtual Cantina Network. It should be the first video you see, whether you are a returning subscriber, which you should be, or whether you are a new person. It should show up for both.
So I gotta get props right now. As we're selling, as we're all getting our tickets earlier, props to Scooby managing our Instagram, over 500 followers as of today, which is absolutely incredible. And then during tickets today, we crossed 43,000 members on the mothership.
Yes.
That's what we should call it from now on, the mothership. It's not the Facebook, it's the mothership.
Yeah, George Clinton and the P-Funk in the Parliament Funkadelic will slap you with a cease and desist. Again,
yeah. Well, gutter is a tool. Anyway, so very, very excited about that. So congratulations to you, everybody. And how about that? Caleb Dune, Kanan Jarrah's saber coming out today, being announced today.
that's the one I voted for. I wanted that one.
So, of course, I'm still waiting for the Ezra Bridger gun saber, because that was just
That's.
You can get the
a toy version.
toy version at the trading post, but it's not quite the same. A Legends version would be quite different.
But yeah, so a lot of good stuff happening today. It's very real. With tickets going on sale today. I'm very excited, to hear all the people going, and a lot of the new people going, a lot of people who that I know, like from friends who have always wanted to go are going, from various aspects of my life, which is actually pretty awesome. But it's all really good going on right now. Also, want to plug that we did announce right now on the 5th of November at the WXYZ bar at the Aloof London, which is right next to.
You mean April?
Not
April? November.
Yes, I'm in April. We have the Not So Virtual Cantina 2. So that's been announced already. Very excited. And an event page will go up at the beginning of next week. Technical difficulties. So very excited about that, and prep for Bunta 4. So it's gonna be pretty good. We're very excited about hopping the pond and all that. And yeah, Ashley, first and foremost, another great show you guys had this past week on Rebels Revisited on Monday. And fingers crossed that you get into the art show. So to prep up, make sure that you're going on to Disney Plus and setting up for a gallery, the book of Boba Fett, which is good. But Dave, why don't you tell us what's going on the VCN?
Well, the VCN is, of course, we have all of these shows are that we do live on both places are backed up there. So if you want to check that out, you've got that. You've got the original intergalactic news desk for Europe. That's up there. We have some new unboxings. We've got some new Star Wars show and tell. We are going to have another episode of Rebels Revisited coming at you next week. I think this one's going to be a taped one, right? This one's going to be a watch along on tape, since we do have the holiday weekend coming.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
That's like
we're going to broadcast on Monday after we record it, probably on Friday. So yeah, everybody's going to be.
Don't want you to miss out on having
that,
but we know you're not necessarily going to be, passing up your fireworks and stuff to, sit there and watch the virtual Cantina network, but you'll be able to, watch it at your leisure. And we have all of these things. Most everything we do is archived over there. If you're wondering about how stuff worked in Anaheim, check out the FAQ on the Facebook page, the FAQ, or all of our old news desks also archived over there in a playlist called, guess what? News Desks. So you can check out what's been going on, what's happened before, so you'll know what to be looking forward to coming in London.
Fantastic. Very, very excited about it. You guys are recording tomorrow. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to
Tomorrow
ask any
is
questions,
Friday.
please post them in in the chat for the last episode, or message me or Ashley or Mark, and we'll get them into the show if we can.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a walk along, talk-a-thon. So
yeah. So yeah, Jeff, how you been? What's been going on in your world?
I'm having some health issues as of late, but it's right now I feel a lot better than I did this morning, so that's positive. And I get to go to the doctor and really figure it out tomorrow. But yeah, I'm trying to enjoy myself as much as I can after celebration, which is it's like finding things that live up to that are a little, difficult. Weird Al was a nice respite.
Oh,
right.
But other than that, so.
Very cute. Very cute. And Dave, tell us a little bit about the this Comic-Con that you went to last week.
So I went to the 40th anniversary of Heroes Con, which is Comic-Con in Charlotte, North Carolina, sponsored by Heroes Aren't Hard to Find, comic book shop. And it was amazing. I mean, it is a huge, not celebration huge, but huge for a comic book convention, because this is comic only. This is not, books and random other fandoms. But it was a huge one. I got to see and check out some panels from people that I saw the last time I was at that con was 30 years ago. Is that particular con, the last one I went was Heroes Con X with Weapon X Wolverine on the thing. There were Trek artists there, Mr. Notman. Yes, there were artists who have been on the Star Trek as well as Star Wars comics. What I went for, and the greatest thing, is I got to meet creator of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Larry Hama. Super nice dude. Got some excellent autographs there. And it's such a refreshing kind of thing, is you're not prepaying. Well, okay, I didn't think this was refreshing, because it would have been nice if I could have prepaid for everything that I was going to do and get my autographs and that. But the queuing and the lines for it, no, I roamed by a couple of times, walked back and forth, and saw that there were just a few people at Mr. Hama's booth, and then came back at the next go by, nobody there. Step up, get my comic signed. I got the first issue of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the 1982 Marvel series, and the silent issue, which is one of the greatest G.I. Joe stories the man has ever come up with on the planet. And then if any of you have heard of Nth Man, the Ultimate Ninja, post that in the chat, because then you are an extraordinary geek like me for Larry Hama Marvel Comics, because that was 16 episodes and done. But it was a great experience. It was nothing like Celebration, but like Jeff was saying, it was one of those things that kind of gets your fill, and a nice little break. And then I got GalaxyCon Raleigh coming up in July, and that's going to be a big one for here.
Yeah, and they keep every 2 days they're announcing another person. Every 2 minutes, I'm texting Dave. I'm like, okay, this person has a pop, and they just announced Richard Dreyfuss, so it's kind of like,
yes. But I don't collect pops as 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are too many. of those things.
But yeah, no, it's gonna. Yeah, I understand that you didn't get a 4-day or a Jedi skip, but you're at least going, and I'm confident you'll figure out a way to get what you want. You always seem to.
Well, Skip lucked into a Jedi on Light the last time. So all of those of you disappointed right now, rebellions are built on hope. So are celebrations.
Yes, which let the speculation begin. I mean, I've been actually very, very reasonable about people wanting a certain person to show up, because it's going to be the 40th anniversary of Jedi. More so than any other time, because this is one of his, his go-to movies. Like,
Yes. I mean, he would be the Jedi that's returning.
Or revenging, if it was.
Or revenging, if that could be either.
Exactly. We got 9 minutes before, but it's very interesting. One thing I'm always going to recommend to everybody, especially if you're coming from the States, is as names are being announced, research. Because a lot of these names sometimes are going to be on cons around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be spending that money to go over to the United States, or if you're going to Celebration as well, specialize in the people that you absolutely need to see, or people who that are not going to be regulars on the con circuit.
So where do you research that, Spencer? I mean, I have a website that I use. I use RosterCon, and I look at that and search up for whoever I want. Do you have anything else or another place that
RosterCon's good, but I'm also surfing the net as far as the cons that I normally frequent. Now, I normally frequent Boston Comic Con, so I check all the fan expos first and foremost, because they usually sign them to a major, a big contract to all their properties or anything of that nature. And usually Boston and Dallas are pretty interchangeable. Rhode Island, I always check Rhode Island. It's always the biggest line. I mean, the lineup is huge right now. They announced a lot of people who were at Celebration already for Rhode Island. That's an hour away from my home. And then Terrificon, which is at Mohegan Sun next month, where Ned B is going to be. Some of the voice actors from the original G.I. Joe cartoon are going to be there.
I know Terrificon is messing with me, because Terrificon is the same weekend as GalaxyCon Raleigh.
Yeah,
and they stole Kevin Conroy from us, I think.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because they got Susan Eisenberg and the guy who plays Superman to do it. They did a trifecta. But also most of the cast of the Orville. Now, if you're not watching season 4 of the Orville, or season 3 of the Orville, it's absolutely incredible. Which is gonna be nice, because one of the actresses is Adrian Palacki, who, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she was Mockingbird, or Bobby Morse. They really didn't call her Mockingbird, but you kind of knew that it was Mockingbird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all good stuff. So yeah, I would keep in mind about that, and be mindful from there, because the thing is also there's a tremendous amount of stuff you can do around London. We're planning stuff around it where we're hopefully going to go take the train. It's a 20-minute train to go up to the Potter sets at the Warner Bros. Studio. Big Band Parliament again. Buckingham Palace.
Big Band Parliament kids.
Thank you. Someone got the reference. That's why I said that.
That's it. But yeah, that and what I think I interrupted you as asking about RosterCon is check it who's going to be at those local cons before Celebration, because you can get them knocked out and out of the way for cheaper.
Right.
You can go ahead and see them. You can have, possibly, depending on the size of the con, like a more personal experience. I went ahead and skipped Katie Sackhoff at Celebration, because I knew I'd have the chance to see her here at in Raleigh.
And Carrie too, right?
Carrie as well, yes. Carrie Jones as well.
So lot of exciting, cons out there. But of course, we'll let you know. And I know that Frank is planning a next season of celebrating autographs, which he, for the European version, which is really
Excellent.
good. So we're very excited about that. Skip, what do you mean? Are we doing that before or evenings? Because I don't think unless there's events after con, we're going to do anything more than grabbing dinner and just relaxing.
What? Come on, you got to go. Like I've heard that there may be more kind of after hours events going for this one. That's happened before.
Yeah, well, so they did a
Is it like
thing in 2016 called
non-
hashtag Cantina, which was a live band evening, which Darth Elvis performed at, and a bunch of other bands. So they haven't done one since 2016. So I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna do that again. Bash is a staple, whatever you thought of the last Bash or anything, it's a staple of Celebration. Our events are a staple of Celebration. Plus, also there's so much. You're saying, Jeff?
I was going to say, have they done a bash at all the overseas celebrations?
They did do one in London, yes.
Okay, so that one for sure.
Yeah. So,
right.
But we'll find
probably
something.
have a large contingency of tribal church members.
But there's a large contingency also. A large contingency of virtual Cantina members, and a good portion of the mod squad is going to be joining us now. So we'll be there. We'll be there in full force, which is going to be great. Also, just want to let you guys know that our virtual Cantina hockey jerseys are on sale until July 19th. Please put in your order and send in your money as soon as you can before then. It's going to be kind of cold when we go to London. So long sleeve stuff kind of works. Hockey jersey.
There you go.
Nice.
Represent.
Yeah, I don't have a need to wear that type of clothing as a general rule here in Southern California.
So there have been nights at
tickets,
Disneyland where you might want a jacket. There are nights at Disneyland where you might.
That's true, but for the most part,
I mean, that's where the spirit came from. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Oversized sweatshirt.
Yep. 3 more minutes, and then we're going to start the gallery for the book of Boba Fett, which is it's a good one. I haven't watched it since it debuted on May the 4th. So
yeah, we were in the park, so I didn't get a chance to watch it, and then I kind of spaced it out after the fact. That's why I mentioned it like a couple weeks ago, like it was new, but it quite was not. Anyways,
no, it's all good stuff.
I'm going to be pull a Dave, and not be familiar with the entire episode, but the content I should be pretty familiar with.
Right.
Yeah, so
right.
It's gonna be pretty cool. We got 2 minutes till there. Also, reminder that if you were looking to get on the Bunta Eve t-shirts, the Bunta t-shirts are on sale right now for $20. Available at buntaevecantina.square.site, SITE. And that's pretty much it right now. Like I said, we're all exhausted. That was a chore. Yeah. But I'm happy for those who got tickets. I'm obviously sad for those who did not. At least for those who just were able to get 1 days each, just to be able to say they're going. I mean, I think you were smart, especially when it's a European celebration. At least you're going, and then you can work on light later on if you want to go. I mean, if you want to exchange. It's not like you're going to a stateside and then what's called you wait until light and then last minute get a cheaper flight or anything of that nature. So a little bit different scenario from there, but it's gonna be good. Very exciting. I know a lot of people are also so exhausted, and it's been a month since Celebration Anaheim, so they start still recovering financially from that one.
What? No, we didn't all spend random amounts of money that we weren't anticipating.
I was like, why is my credit card bill so high already this month?
And yeah,
oh yeah,
the fitting of
it's
the
all bleeding
random,
over from the end of Celebration.
the fitting of the random things in the. See, I'm technically still spending money from Celebration because I brought home like a new helmet, and now I need the rest of the costume, the cosplay, to go with said new helmet.
Right.
So I was spending money in Home Depot today, putting together things for the little code cylinders for my Rebel pilot cosplay. It's like, ooh,
Very cool. So we're about that time. So we all queued up.
My phone just cut off, but yes, I was.
All
like
right.
I was telling Dave earlier, I don't like they call this version of Gallery Season 1, Episode 1. So no more episodes, Book of Boba Fett Gallery.
I would have thought it. Well, I think maybe they set the precedence because the first Mandalorian had multiple
It was
episodes.
8 episodes. Yeah,
it was awesome. Because when we did the first time watch along of Mandalorian, we watched the episode, then we watched the gallery to go along with it.
that was very. Yep, it was a great companion piece.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, we're gonna start up right now. So, you guys all ready?
I am set.
I am.
Okay, we're gonna start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Play.
Ashley, you said you went ham on t-shirts. That's not very kosher.
Womp womp womp.
Thank you.
I would have if I could have found more t-shirts in my size at the store. It was just poof. So
Had such great hopes for Robert. Not that he truly disappointed, but he just didn't bring the punch ultimately. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Book of Boba Fett.
I didn't think he did nearly as well as his episodes of Mando.
Yeah, exactly. He did amazing in that episode or whatever episodes he did, and sort of was a little lackluster. Hey, what the hell's wrong with my network connection? I got a Spencer problem over here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You named it?
My Roku. The Roku TV is like, you're experiencing a Spencer problem.
We have Roku around my house. We just bought our first Roku TV that doesn't have. We don't need the extra piece for it, and loving it so far. But anyway, it's nice to see that
Well, this decided history.
Seeing like Filoni hanging there with the Yoda saber. There's something like magical about that.
What's the time stamp?
We are at
So it's
1:44.
Yeah, roughly that.
1:45.
Okay, let's see where I am.
See, I love the Favreau in this, and I love how everybody says, and it's true. Favreau gives us so much. He goes into directing an Iron Man movie, and boom, iconic. There's the MCU. I mean, Feige, yes, but directs the first one. He gives us, I'll just, on a whim, direct a Christmas movie. Boom, Christmas classic, Elf. Just,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny when you go back to it because he was also Gunner in PCU.
Yeah. It's like that guy did something.
Yeah, it's like, Gunner PCU and the crazy cop in Replacements, and
oh yeah, the Replacements. I loved that.
Okay, here's Dad bod Fett going completely ham, which was what made us all giddy about this show. And we said, okay, Rodriguez knows what he's doing. And
Give me the time code again. Sorry.
We are at 3:05.
Okay, I'm a little bit behind. Okay, I'm about 35 seconds behind. Come on. Whatever. I'm good enough.
if this is the script that he's just reading right now, that's quite detailed about how he twirls this with such proficiency. And
Yes, that's some heck
He
of
has that
stage
Taka
presence.
experience.
Oh, do you see him? Oh, he's goofing right there doing the Daniel Logan with the helmet.
yeah,
Puts it up against his head.
He can joke about his
Pulled
own
a Daniel.
speaking of Daniel and talking about that, next week we're watching a 20th anniversary panel from Anaheim.
Oh yeah,
That's
that'll be
good.
good.
Be a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff with both Tamura and Daniel.
Yep, and Hayden, and not Hayden, and Ewan too. Ewan was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, he did some great inserts into the stories that they were talking about. Made it a lot more fun to hear it
Well, one of the things we were talking
from
about,
his certain point of view.
because we've heard the whole fart story from Daniel Logan for 1,000,001 years. To hear it from literally the horse's mouth is kind of hilarious,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if it was beat for beat. It wasn't even a variation of that story. It was the same exact story,
which is awesome.
which makes it way better. Oh, this is cool. He's like, they took away my ship and called it, what's it called now?
Fire Spray.
It's not Slave One
it's
anymore.
not.
It's Fire
It's
Spray.
called Slave One. It is still called Slave One.
I would have to say, so that scene, like
It is a Fire Spray model.
the scene over the Rancor pit, which was what's it called?
Yep.
Like the Godfather scene. I think that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that dinner.
Well, I really
Meetings of the
enjoyed.
family.
I know a lot of people were not happy with Book of Boba Fett, and I have specific issues with parts of it. But there were parts that were really, really enjoyable. Like what he's talking about right now, and what we're seeing is the expansion of the characters of the Tuskens. Bringing them into like a sympathetic kind of dances with wolves kind of era. I really liked that. That was a really nice part to the. I mean,
Gave
and I
them
think that probably
a human element to them.
It's like they called him John Dumbear or Tatanka.
Yes,
Tatanka.
But no, like a bantha, like a Tatanka. There you go. See, that I would say somebody needs to like deep fake that back is like Tamura on John. No, back and forth. Yeah. Kevin Costner on Tamura, Tamura on Kevin Costner.
Yep, he got the negative, dad bod stuff, and he ultimately had to reverse that a bit.
Right.
By the time he had his own show, so.
Oh yeah, he was far more like imposing of a character in by this.
Yeah. Well, also has half his scenes, his shirt's off. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Right.
So all those Bacta tank scenes. But he did slim down a bit. So that was, I'm sure it made things work a little bit better too on his end. But this is amazing. They should have just done all episodes of Book of Boba Fett like that. Period. Just Boba going nuts on whoever, troopers, whatever.
Right.
See, that was the one thing I was wondering. Like, I want to see, like we see those paintings of stormtroopers like helmets and skulls smashed in and stuff coming out of the helmet, like that's what I was hoping for.
Well, we got bits of it. We got parts of it. Then they threw
leading up to it.
They just kind of tried to do too much stuff with it. Imagine this, if you will. Okay. What would have been the Book of Boba Fett for you just with the removal of the mods?
See, the mods didn't bother me as much as things I would have wanted in the series. The mods to me were minor compared to the other issues in the show.
Okay, see, we're talking about the opposite ways. I'm talking about things we saw that we didn't want to see. And then, you're talking about more of things that are missing.
The mods,
and that's the thing too. What you're saying, Jeff?
The mods, in my opinion, were basically a replacement for true bounty hunters that we could have revisited or seen new variations of or whatever. Bosk showing up, since it was a whole bunch of that species on that in the Mos Espa. Spoiler alert. No. So anything like that would have. I like the fan service. I like it when it fits, and him getting the gang back together, as it were, even if they weren't necessarily buddies, but they have a similar goal. That kind of thing would have, I think, really would have worked there. It's a weird kind of position. And then this, I don't understand how he came up through feet, meters, of sand, as opposed to through the actual beast and out the hole you came in. That bugged me a lot. But
I think that was the drama, and
do it.
Just we wanted to see him. They wanted to see him covered in the sand or something.
Yeah. I think they could have done it a little bit better, but obviously they did it the way they wanted to do it. This is a great scene. I loved it in the episode, because this was what he should have been doing the whole time. Yeah. Always got to go to Tashi Station to kick ass.
Well, yeah, we got to see Tashi Station,
Well, you're on
that train scene was. Yeah, we got it. It had to show up eventually, right? Would have been cool if they saved it for Obi-Wan Kenobi, though.
Right. That would have been.
Owen and Luke could have went to Tashi Station and looked for something, but then it wouldn't have been the same scene, obviously. But they did incorporate those two characters from the was it from the graphic novels or the comics?
Mm-hmm. Here's
that were in the bargain and picked on by the right.
That remind me of very 1989 Batman.
The family feast.
That's very, Jack Napier's like,
you are my number one.
Yes. See, I think it's funny too. They're showing their references in Conan and Godfather.
The Godfather. I'm really happy that they brought those characters into Galaxy's Edge. They need more characters along the lines of this people from the show, but being able to walk up on Boba Fett and Fennec, as you're passing through Batuu is something I need to experience.
See,
of course, they introduce it. The last time I had access to the park.
See, I think it'll be cool if they just get more generic aliens. If they would just have a Twi'lek or some,
that too.
some generic alien people, Trandoshans just meandering through with the regular crowd in the marketplace.
Good word.
Right.
See, yeah. That's what
Definitely.
I would like to see, and I don't think
That's what they
people
kind of-
would like
I
crowd
think
them
that's
as
sort of how
much.
they sold it.
Yeah,
Right,
Well,
right.
and
They
that-
wouldn't
but-
get the mob that other characters might get.
Well, they're doing that with Avengers Campus. They're overloading you with characters.
well, that's the thing. Okay,
Right.
when Loki was out, immediately the different versions of Loki
Right up at
were in Avengers Campus like the next day.
Right.
You know, you can't tell me they couldn't do a similar thing. You could call people in the Rebel Legion or the 501st and hire some people to just roll in the next day until you got your own costuming department up to speed.
Yeah, and they could, copy the costumes that those people brought in, or if they, however they were created.
Speaking of
And
the costumes, you see that picture of
get your thing.
Hayden with the 501st?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then
they're
you've seen
actually
the
the
version that
501st?
somebody photoshopped Tim's head onto all of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it was pretty cool to get a shot with them in their 501st armor.
Mm-hmm.
That blue deck is probably one of the best ones as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to variations of stormtroopers, obviously the original one is one I like the most. But having that element is, I mean, they probably, I'm sure they got a shot with everybody was a truer thing with Hayden and his like cloak up, whatever it was. Would have been very cool to witness. It's a trip to see how they were shooting this stuff.
Yeah.
Like what was
and
in
actually, I think Fennec really
in the,
was kind of the
volume
the
and
star of
whatnot.
this.
Hey, Bryce, how are you? And Joanna Bennett, who played the female badass Tusken, was just incredible.
Yes. As have we seen her hit the con circuit?
Yes, she's on it.
Excellent. And I think
She was
some of the
doing
big
more of a
ones are
limited
going to have Ming Na.
Yeah, so Ming Na's doing quite a number of shows right now. So she's going to be back out there. She's going to be up here in Boston, which is great. However, I got so many items that need her, mostly Fennec, but I do have some, Agent May
The
stuff.
cavalry.
Mhm. And you need Mulan.
Absolutely.
Hi, Toddy. I'm glad you're up past your bedtime to join us. We are watching the gallery book of Boba Fett, 16 minutes in. So how incredible was this when he basically he did the Harryhausen on his own? Like,
Yep. His
It's ridiculous.
visualizations, especially, well, for the first episode that he did, and that, just in general, look at that, is
Yeah.
amazing. But he did the have the kids play with the figure in the yard thing, which ended up being like shot for shot the scene that ended up in the freaking episode of Mandalorian, which is insane. He did that previs so well that it just was like that was the shot. So he takes what he can, and obviously he's got the ability to do that stuff for the help. Poor little Jimmy Kimmel's nephew, he got tossed right there.
Yeah, there you go. But Boba's this was still when we were still on the build up. Is this point in the show we were like, yeah, this is gonna go. Yeah.
and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, once the mild, the build up to the mid season when they stopped doing the flashbacks is the problem. Once they stopped doing the flashbacks, you lost a lot of that badassery, and it turned more into the milder version of whatever he was going to do until not even till the end, but kind of more great references.
Peter O'Toole as Lawrence Holabia.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
Dave, did you
the
do
references.
the HasLab for GI Joe today?
No, I do not. The last thing I need is a HISS tank this big in my room of stuff. I mean, you have to remember, I still have like original stuff that takes up the size of the desk. I have a Terrordrome here.
Right.
I love it. I love the concept for those who are collecting the classified line that they're going to start making vehicles for those. I have no space for that. I have plenty of 3 3/4 stuff that just eats up the amount of space.
What if they did a HasLab of a modified, an updated U.S. flag?
I would go bankrupt.
Okay.
I would sell my car. But I am still of the mind that one day I will get enough pieces to rescue and build my own flag.
There you go.
I saw, speaking of, like, I thought you were going somewhere else with this. I thought you were going to like the Millennium Falcon. I saw at a toy shop. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. I'm at Heroes Con this past weekend, and a lot of the places that have booths there are also local collectibles and toy shops. So one of the afternoons after I got out of the con,
right,
I went around the city, and I went not just to see their booth, I went to see their home shop. I went to a place called the Rebel Base Comics and Collectibles, because it was the Rebel Base. Oh my gracious. If you are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, go see them. Like, all kinds of classic, still in the box, G.I. Joes, Star Wars, all sorts of stuff. They had the big Falcon, the one that's probably 3 feet in diameter or so.
BF.
Yeah.
BFF or whatever they called it. Big freaking
I'm not
Falcon.
sure which. Yeah, I mean, but the big one. They had the OG as well.
Truer to the 3 3/4 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, like twice as big, hanging from the ceiling over here. Yeah, this is very cool how they incorporated the Maori haka stuff from Tamora.
Mm-hmm.
Those dances are here comes Snuffy. No. I'm just disappointed that we didn't see more blood on the dismemberments. Okay. Oh, my thing is lagging.
I mean, we've seen where this wasn't lightsaber combat. This isn't auto cauterizing. This is like rough. And they've gone to such you can see what they're doing at now. They've gone to such trouble to make the detailed characters, and then for them not to be used in as detailed of a way.
Right. Well, like these guys, the mayor, he's got all kinds of moving parts. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
And this angle and this side and these things, I don't remember seeing in the show. I'm seeing it better in the gallery. This
right.
character.
It was all from the front.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. They just showed an alien that the head was used in 2 different variations to create 2 different aliens. And you could do it with the action figure too. It's kind of bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good when they're true to the original. Who was in this costume? Wasn't it like Matt Wood or somebody as well?
Well, the one who was in the Trandoshan, not the Trandoshan,
or Rodriguez.
No, Rodriguez did the voice, but it was actually John Rosengrant, who is the head of Legacy Effects.
Mm.
He was in the mayor's outfit.
Mm.
and he's done a lot. He's done. I mean, he helped with Baby Yoda in season 1. Well, he owns the company that does all the makeup and the practical effects. But he was also John Leguizamo's character in season 2 Mando,
Okay.
the Crime Lord.
Oh, I forget the Cyclops dude, right?
Yeah. David, I just found a Spangler wand with the original front for $160.
Ooh.
Ooh, Jennifer Beals.
Yeah, see, that's another one of those, like, unless we see her pop up somewhere else later, that's a waste.
Right.
Big time. It's always good when the people on fans of the show or of things related.
And I love how she's comparing it to Rick's.
Oh,
right.
Did she just called herself like a mashup of Rick and Beyonce? This is like, okay.
There's Rick's Cafe American. Play it, Sam. You played it for her. You can.
There you go. There's play it, Max. She just goes, play it, Max. Play it again, Max. That would have been fun.
The end part is the fallacy of that quote. Anyways, let's continue.
Right. Well, yeah.
So she's her calming demeanor.
Oh, there it is. That's what you're talking about right there. Oh no. Rip people's arms off.
There we go. Black Hay.
Yes.
I love every time he turns, he cocks his head. It kind of looks like he's giving the people's eyebrow.
There you go. His Dwayne Johnson as Black Chrysanthemum.
Yes. Well, he's playing Black Adam, so.
Oh, yes. There he is.
That's going to be a mashup soon, I'm sure.
There you go.
Black Chrysanthemum and Black Adam. A dark version.
Okay, see, Hasbro, why didn't you hear this and not just paint an old Chewbacca figure solid black and try and pass it off? No. Why?
Yeah, that was pretty half-assed. Considering that Chewbacca is so much a different body type, not
exactly. You know, that's
still
what
the same.
they're talking about.
So that's the main problem. And they don't all look the same. His face is very different. He has more of a Sasquatch and less of a dog kind of look going.
Yeah, and he's just
also
so
got kind of
thick. I mean, you see Peter and Eunice from the side, and it's just they're kind of a little hunched over. They're like thinned out through there, and they just kind of move. But Black Chrysanthemum is
they're very raily,
chest out all the time.
Yeah, he's got some mass.
Ashley says that Hasbro didn't know Chrysanthemum was in this.
The actor himself, obviously, is much larger.
See, that makes sense, Ashley, because you know, remember when the time of the prequels,
it was like last minute, they threw it together.
Well, we saw prequel stuff is we got spoilers from the toys because everybody knew and they released the toys before the movie.
Yep. Toys had to be out to help market the movie. That was their thought at that point, because they did it the opposite way in the 70s. But no fault of their own. It was a learning process at that point. And everybody learned from that. Lucasfilm and him getting that marketing money That was an
Well,
amazing
what did Carrie
accomplishment.
say that every time she looks in the mirror, she owes George Lucas like a quarter?
Yep. His sold the likenesses
Yeah,
away.
because he owns her life.
And see, this is the kind of
Love the
thing you got is we're seeing the multiple different directors here where this worked in The Mandalorian,
right.
but I don't think it worked here. It was not
You know what
as
this right now is doing?
Hmm.
If I had seen this gallery prior to seeing the season of Book of Boba Fett, I would have got a much different feel for how I thought the season was going to. I mean, they're showing like every badass scene to an extent. Well, now that
Yeah.
the modder is okay, but anyways, but like all the scenes they were showing, like him shooting a guy on the rail and doing this fight and having the gaffy stick and yada yada.
Yeah.
So, because I think that would have
It is.
definitely been a different feel if we saw a lot of that like as a trailer. But they did what they did, and that's what happened. This is the trip. Modern time.
That's the thing we were talking about the other night.
Oh,
how
yeah,
I
that's
felt
true.
like that the legacy characters need to be like kind of like put on the shelf a little bit. And I think Mandalorian does so well because it has.
Yeah, they fall back on them in weird ways.
It's a crutch, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, they've opened things up like having the ability to have the modders be their own thing at some point, and whatever.
Right. Well, but
that could be the lead with the other mod.
It's just odd that this show is supposed to be about your legacy character and tell you so much more about them, and it doesn't. So here's another what if. Imagine what if this had gone, this whole thing, the whole Filoniverse had gone the way it was allegedly supposed to go, and think about if Din were Boba Fett. If everything that Din has done was being played by Tamora. Yeah, that's a whole different kind of arc right there. Is Boba Fett having that relationship with Grogu?
I think a lot of that was sort of I think a lot of their intent was try to do Mandalorian was basically Boba Fett, an variation of that. He was very similar, and he just built different armor, some slightly different ideals maybe, but still the same kind of character. But they couldn't get the go ahead, obviously, until Mandalorian said, "Hey, we're making you $1 billion zillion.
Right
now, you can do whatever." Opened it up, kind of. I mean, they may have been like in thought or the earlier processes of develop those shows, but they weren't going anywhere until the Mandalorian started kicking butt. So this is great. Old school. No.
Well, this was another waste that we didn't get to see Danny Trejo again.
Right.
He totally should have been the one that came in end of that fight where the Rancor was tearing crap up and calmed the Rancor down, and not been Din. Any sense to me?
Not a deal.
Somebody knew it, obviously, but Danny would have totally been the proper person to be there to do it. I mean, he could have just been, in the street, and that could have been his scene, and it could have been over. He didn't have to be in the whole big thing, although he could still be in the periphery if they wanted, whatever. But this is funny.
Yeah.
It's a trip how they mark the model or the puppet. Different versions of how they gave like a previs for the. So this is stuff we didn't see. I don't remember.
What's
Did
that?
we see that unmasking? The unmasking. Oh yeah, that's right. That was when he.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, that was the previous the build up. That was
right. You had to do the bonding thing, whatever. Yeah, I forgot about that for a second.
I think it's hilarious that he's saying just, oh, how the Rancor was one of the most beloved aspects of Return of the Jedi, where it's like, well, he tried to kill Luke.
But I love you.
Dead and sad, Mally Killy. Made everybody think differently. Ooh, chunky. It's great. I love the drool just tangling.
Yeah. Well, and I love how much of this, I love seeing that they're still doing so much of this practically, and they're doing it practically well.
I guess I kind of get an idea of what they wanted to do because they had Din with Grogu right there in that scene where he calms down and tries to calm down. So I guess not having Grogu in the mix wouldn't have worked out properly because they needed to have that element. So I guess Din was the one that had to be the calmer.
Right.
But it still would have been cool to see Homeboy in the shot or something. It was sort of the climactic thing. Oh, that's amazing. Some of these puppets are just so cool.
Oh yeah, that's what it's like.
Even the digital stuff is one thing, but the physical puppets are just.
Well, it's like what the big snake that they had in Rise of Skywalker. They did that practically and then removed it and made it digital. But you saw in the video that they showed the actual puppet when they were acting against, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea for sure. It's better for the actors and probably for the CG guys too. To have
now that was they're showing like one of the parts that I thought was like the low budgety kind of part is the first part that they showed is the meat packing factory, which was like they just went to Philly and used the same place they did in Rocky. It's like I'm expecting
they were lazy,
pop out from behind.
Lazy in terms of what they were supposed to have in their previs or like storyboards or something of like tauntaun heads. Hung up in that scene.
I think it's in the end gallery things or something.
Probably the Mandalorian gallery. It's interesting how they did this too, where it was a combination of things for both these scenes, where it was puppet, live action, and some CG, because the puppet hand didn't work as well as they liked or whatever.
Oh, Bryce.
A trip to see Din do those like action star moves, like the headbutt and taking the shots to the back and stuff. So they have the Bounty Hunters Guild graphics posting up on Batu East recently, and I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I wanted them to do it here. So like, I don't think you need a special visor, but you'll see some like kind of graphics like that one they just showed. It's interesting how that how that saber is wielded in such different ways by different people.
Well, and we need to get why does the armorer know so much about this? And I'm the expert on wielding this,
but I don't want it.
Right.
I'm gonna shun it.
And why is it that Giancarlo, why is it that Gideon can just wave it around?
Yeah. Go right through the hole of the tie he was in, and it was such a T2 moment right here.
There it is.
That's really cool, Chantel. I mean, yeah, when they showed the Night of a Thousand Tears, that was another great thing, but it was very much Judgment Day.
Yes.
Yep. It was that scene that Salakana saw in her dreams of the park, and then she saw it for real. Oh, I don't know. No, she was gonna see it for real.
Well,
spoiler alert.
Yeah. And then this, like, you remember anymore. Sweet.
Got the Razor Crest.
Here, everybody, we have the best toy ever. 3 3/4 inch scale Razor Crest. Oh wait, tomorrow we're gonna blow up the ship.
Oh, that was a thing too. In the Rebel Base toy place, they had a Razor Crest. They had Jabba's sail barge.
It's very costly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, sweet. I would think so. 2, 3, 4 times original price.
I don't even remember what original price was, and I don't remember what the price was. I just saw it and I was like, wow.
And ask Mike, he has the Razor Crest and the sail barge if he doesn't have more. Yep. So the reintroduction of this ship this is so much Mandalorian. I like how there's like deco that's on there, but it's like they took off most of the paint, but they still left like a cool patchwork.
Yeah,
but it's not random. It's kind of, it looks almost like racing stripes.
Like I said, they should have done when they did this whole montage. They needed like a 80s hairband, like in the background, like music like what Dave went to go.
Yeah.
If you remember, like in Better Off Dead when they're rebuilding the Camaro.
Yeah.
Well, I love the crossover to.
When they sit here now, they're going down the pod racing course, and there's seeing that. What that again would have put Danger Zone behind that.
Yep. And Doug Chang's like, yeah, I helped design the original, and now I'm designing the new one.
That was a good panel at Celebration. Is the Doug Chang panel that was.
Did either one of you go to the one with like the?
He's always
the ILM one with Phil Tippett and Ron Howard and Lawrence Kasdan.
I missed that one.
How was that?
That was a good panel. I mean, it was a tough panel to really think was amazing and great because it was one of the everybody comes out and sits in couches and talks about cool stuff. But we had just seen the day before we had seen, okay, let's bring out a chorus that does Duel of the Fates. Oh, let's bring out John Williams and an entire orchestra. Oh, let's bring out Harrison Ford. And this one is like, okay, that's Ron Howard.
Right.
But,
very casual.
Yeah, it was. It was just okay, people are sitting in people are sitting in chairs and talking. It's what you thought a panel would be before the expectations that you'd seen the day before. It was cool that, Ron Howard did have to acknowledge because the audience is screaming at him solo too. And he does have to acknowledge that from the stage that, yes, I heard it, we're here. So.
Indeed. I love this, how then Rosario walks on stage and she sees somebody and turns around. It's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
speaking of Rosario, Clerks 3 trailer comes out next week, and Kevin Smith will announce the tour for the roadshow.
Nice.
Sweet.
I figured out what I'm getting Kevin and Jay to sign.
Ooh.
I'm having them sign a meme from Dogma of when Jay and Bob were outside the abortion clinic.
Oh yeah, you shoot. I think you shared that on the.
Yeah, to me, I was like, I have
Yep.
to after.
This is what I'm getting Jay to sign.
What color paint pen?
News of the day. Oh,
What color paint?
Maybe something like that orangish. That orangey, like his chest piece there.
Okay.
his oranginess. Nice.
Yeah, Rosario had a great time with that panel, but Natalia, the new Sabine,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
had an incredible time.
They both came out on the live stage after that,
Right.
a little while after that panel was over, and she was definitely.
I can't
enjoying
decide.
herself.
I might
Well,
get
they both
Kevin to do that. I don't know, but like I said, I've got a comic that I may have him do as well.
Right.
This is great. Thick Luke.
Yes.
I didn't realize they had him in so many
In wardrobe.
scenes.
Oh, because their
Yeah,
big
that too.
was is that they completely did it digitally, and then all of a sudden, nope, he was actually there.
So they didn't-
Mm.
Because we heard that
Right.
he just came in. His name was just
Hello,
there for
Peter.
a payday.
Wasn't the
Right.
scene in the end of Mandalorian him?
It was him, but
Well,
the thing was is that after the
but-
whole deep fake thing, they probably blew their budget on deep fake in Book of Boba Fett. They forgot to do
Yeah.
it for Kenobi.
Something because just
Oh, yeah,
just
they-
erase the lines in his forehead. and it
50-year-old
would've-
Padawan, 40-year-old Padawan.
Yeah.
They could
40-year-old
have
Padawans.
paid for the Botox.
For those just coming in, we're at 45
Yeah.
35.
So, well, there's the other guy. I'm glad they didn't do so much stuff just in the volume, although the volume is amazing.
Yeah. Now
And
they
certain
cut
things
that,
work
didn't
really,
they?
really well. in volume.
I don't remember that
Huh?
line from the show, but I may not. Where he said he used to talk in riddles. Have you heard anyone talk like that back home?
Yeah, so it's when when they're walking together, when he says
Mhm.
size matters not, and do not do.
Or do not.
You know, he's actually when he's walking with Grogu, he's using his hand to push Grogu along with the Force. That's what the whole scene was.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I didn't. Just that line
Ah,
where he said, "Have you heard anybody talk in
The one
riddles
line
back
was-
home?"
yeah.
I didn't remember that, but it may have been there.
Well, it's time to rewatch.
Absolutely.
I'm okay.
They are the best episode. They are the best. They are the best episodes of. Well, this one's kind of a weird one, especially that ending. But
Oh, yeah.
of Book of Boba Fett. The
Yeah,
Mando
start-
episodes are the best episodes of Book of Boba Fett.
We have to start mapping out Andor August.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Need some input. Give us some ideas.
And
Obviously,
Pud.
Rogue One, but that's a given.
So is this a
Yeah.
connection and a coincidence? We were
We're
partnering
gonna wait
with
until after the show is over.
the visual effects people at Lola.
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Did you order Lola?
I did not.
Oh, I had to.
No.
Yeah, shiny shirt. Hello, that was the mithril vest that freaking Frodo wore.
Mode.
He just needed to have staying
Yeah.
and we'll be set. I saw someone got an autograph. They had a screenshot of Billy standing in for Carrie in Rise of Skywalker in the that scene on Endor.
Right.
It was her. It was
Oh, wow.
Billy's face. They got that signed at Celebration,
Ooh.
and she said, "Leia, aka Mom," as a character.
Wow. Mm.
I heard she was giving out glitter too to make sure people
She was.
knew that her mom was there.
She was giving out glitter and she was giving people the finger in the photo ops.
Spirit of her mom.
I did see Bryn Asbury, who was one of our contestants for
Nice.
Idol. She actually got one with the finger.
Yeah. So Peter, we talked about
Nice.
that earlier. that Carrie and the pet bird named Lola is, we believe, one of those internet rumor deals that she did have a pet bird she did travel with, but it was like, I don't know, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom or Fuzzy Pants, or it was not Charles Fuzzy Bottom, Fuzzy Pants. I don't know. I'm making that up. It wasn't Lola.
Carlos Spicy
Some
Wiener.
weird name, just a regular name. It wasn't Lola.
Carlos Spicy Wiener.
That's what they named him when he went. When he went
now
through
that
the
was cute right there.
through the
It's Mark
checkpoint,
with
that's what they
Grogu.
should have named
Mark with Grogu. Oh,
him. Right. Breakout.
no, we didn't talk about that today, Peter. We talked about that, I think,
It was Tuesday because I was the one who,
or something.
yeah, because that was me. Because I was like,
Yeah,
well,
Spencer came into that because Jeff and I had
Yeah.
done that when we did the watch along of, I think, episode 1 or of part 1 of
Night Skip.
Obi-Wan. Night Skip.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
What are the frogs are practical?
That's what I meant.
Holy crap.
Yeah, you probably have them on strings and pull them up like a fishing line.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I would think at this point that just how long and how many people
Those look like
it
the ones you
takes-
could buy at the store, but they painted them different.
Yeah.
They probably just used them for previs and then had them key them out and put in, legit floating PV frogs as opposed to using those.
I
But
would
they were just
think
replacement
it would just be cheaper at this point to just go straight to CG and not even do that. But
right. No, maybe they want the visual reference to try to make it look a little more realistic.
Yeah,
because they've been having that issue recently. So I'm not faulting them for trying to do it in a way that they can mimic ultimately. That would ideally make the shot better visually, but whatever. I'm gonna critique the CGI regardless, so it doesn't matter. Even if it's
now I think one of the
stupendous,
coolest things that people have been
stupendous.
pointing out now is, people have been rewatching the prequels because of the interest from Obi-Wan, and they're like, the CG just doesn't hold up. But people are also rewatching the original Jurassic Park because of the sequel, and they're like, it kind of holds up.
Right.
The CG in the original Jurassic Park is still kind of there.
And then you watch Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
How about watch what was Todd McFarlane's main character?
Spawn.
Spawn, yeah. So have you ever seen the Spawn movie? Some of the CG in some of those scenes is like the worst I've ever seen. It's just garbaggio, but it was a fun movie. It just was done really. Yeah, well, that's crazy.
Look at that. Boom.
Oh, I think they took those stupid droids out quicker.
Now that was they're showing the badass scenes again. You've
I
got
wonder if they tried to replicate some of this stuff.
Mando and Boba back to back.
Right. Whoa, that was cool.
Except his hat was 5 times too big for his head in the cartoon.
Yeah, that was part of the cool part.
Nah,
But I didn't mind the size of the hat in this, and I didn't
No.
mind.
exaggerated.
Yeah, the mouth placement
No, it's-
either.
Truer too. Look at that. Look at that thing. It's giant. Yeah, it's way too low and weird in that in the cartoon. It gives him more of a humanoid feel.
So they got that guy in the
With
the
it up
goatee.
a little.
That was John Rosengrant.
Hmm.
Hmm. Ultimately, I
Don't give
think
away
did a
all the
very good
tricks, but
job.
hey, if you went to the Mandalorian
Doesn't need to
experience,
be-
you have to actually see the tricks and the actual headpiece of that Cad Bane wore. We're not giving
Ooh.
away the tricks.
No, well. Well, this was before that.
Right.
I know.
Dumb and couldn't make reservations. That's what happened. Me sad that I missed it until I watched for they misspoke. Full size Razor Crest, not a full size Razor Crest cockpit, but a size Razor Crest, which it was not a full size Razor Crest, just the cockpit. But there was a full size Naboo
Starfighter, yeah.
Starfighter.
so that was pretty sweet, and it had Grogu in it. Yeah, I love from
I love how they're talking about how putting the
Yeah.
helmet and the armor on makes you feel powerful, and then you just see him getting his ass kicked by Cad Bane. Shooting. But that was cool right there. Yeah.
Through the Super Droidica.
Yes. Yo. Kong.
Droidica.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. Thank you.
Got a Kong reference. The
Yeah.
highest point because he's scared or something. Where's Danny Trejo?
Yep.
Yeah. See, that would have been it.
Dag nabbit. You could try to bite on Mando. Ooh,
Okay, so
snap.
the puppeteers
He
for
tried to bite on Mando, and then well, that was like
so the puppeteers for Grogu, did they kind of look like the putty soldiers from the Turtles?
Oh, the
Or I
foot-
think, or I think of Power
in
Rangers.
the gray.
I think they're both kind of the same.
Yeah.
The Foot Clan and the
Yeah. The putty was Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it.
Mm-mm. I love the use of the, legacy style sabers, but I just can't get past the blade. I think that they should have the thinner blade for these production removable blades or whatever.
Yeah, I
who
mean,
knows? I don't know.
they could. They're bound to be able. They could take
I mean, they have
the
a version of
Disney
the hilt
legacy
without the blade.
saber and make a thinner blade for the budget they have.
Right.
They could probably use all
because
the same
if you look at
innards.
the original trilogy, all the shots, right?
Yeah, they're tiny.
Just need a thinner version, maybe, but baby Grogu, do something that looked more like a blade, like you've seen in the original Turn the Saber. You wouldn't get that same exact silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
That would be ideal to me. I mean, like the Kenobi and Vader scenes in Kenobi were intense, but that just pulled me out of it a little bit. Reminded me of like a cosplay convention or something, and seeing a bunch of guys,
Yeah.
going to town with their lightsabers, as it were.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love it,
but,
and I hate it at the same time. It's the blades are too big around and too fat. Now I do love seeing the actual practical blood, but yeah, you would think they could make it better.
That's one thing that back in when they first did that. What was it, episode 2? It's been 20 years, but that one they had to. I think they had to have power cables coming off of the saber because they couldn't do enough power for the blade and whatever. I don't know. I can't remember for sure, but they've been doing that practical version of the lighting, to an extent for 20 years. They should be able to get it to, original trilogy look and feel at this point. But that's another thing we both I know you've commented on before, is that a lot of the animation and stuff, I mean, most of it's just amazing, but then there's those pieces that don't quite hit. Anyways, it's over.
Anyways, so we're here. It's over. Honestly, I thought it was better than the show.
But
yeah, that's what I was
like
saying.
I was saying before,
there
are pieces of this that I loved, and they're just vast sections that I could have done without.
Right.
They cut down the amount of episodes or something.
Yeah.
And lost elements of what they gave us, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. And as far as I'm concerned, it would have been just fine.
But it's still good, very excited for the future of Star Wars. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. Obviously, with the Bad Batch 2, Andor, Summer Vacation, Tales of the Jedi, all this year.
Right.
So some good stuff there.
Yeah,
but this weekend, I believe there's a new episode of the Jedi Archives.
It's their turn. There should be.
Okay. And just gearing up for the long weekend. So before we close out tonight, Dave, anything?
Like I said, I find this interesting because what we were talking about, Skeleton Crew, is Peter's saying, is
that coming this year?
I wasn't sure. If he says so, I believe it. There was so many dates and things that happened during those panels that I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It is, I'm saying maybe this deserves a rewatch. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. It's something that I haven't given a rewatch. I don't think many of these, or if any of these episodes, but this gallery kind of makes me want to go and look at some of it at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hefe.
I think I was still in my watch it at least twice mode, which I didn't do with Kenobi. I've only watch it at least twice prior to the watch along.
Right.
So I've watched, Kenobi, all those episodes at least twice. And this show I would have watched at least 3 times or 4 times prior or after the watch along had concluded. Not that it warranted all those extra viewings, but I did really like some elements of it. And like Dave said, this kind of this highlight reel, as it were, kind of gets me, more interested in watching certain parts of it again. And Spencer's going to die soon, so we need to wrap it up.
Yeah. So, guys, I hope everybody's safe. Have a great 4th. We will see you next week. Hopefully some more good news about Celebration. Keep looking out on the VCN. Keep on checking out on the mothership. And from Dave, from Jeff, this is Spencer saying, may the force be with you.
Congrats